Okay, guys. So one of the best ways for you to kind of get involved with getting good at doing Autodesk Fusion 360 is just kind of having a bit of a play. So before we do that, I'll just show you some of the basics. Up here on the top left-hand side is a toolbar that says Sketch, and inside here we have all of our two-dimensional drawing facilities. So anything that's 2D will be done here. Next to that is our Create button. So this Create drop-down tab will have everything that we want to do to turn either a two-dimensional image into a 3D shape. Okay, so we can start to make sure that we use this to create our 3D shapes. And we've got some things down here that kind of make life a little bit easier, but I'm going to try and avoid those for now, just so that you get an idea of, of how to make these shapes from their most basic existence. So we have our modify here. So modify is we've got a solid shape and we're starting to change that. I wouldn't worry about any of the other bits and pieces at the moment. So what we're going to start with is we're going to start with completing this object that we've got here, which is a shape sorter. You've probably seen these before. They're a little wooden box that you put shapes in the sides, as a little kid's toy. So the way that we start this is we've got our drawing plane here. This is our work plane. And I like to think of this, if you imagine this being a piece of paper, you can see it's kind of got grid lines that we can work to. And it's really simple to kind of start doing this. You have to remember that the computer doesn't know what you want to do. It's not the it doesn't have the ability to guess what it is that you want to do. So you need to tell it exactly what it is. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to sketch. And if I'm going to be creating this shape here, this cube, I need to do a square. I need to create a square, and then I need to extrude that square into a proper shape. I could go down here to the box, but again, like I said, I'm going to show you how to do that from scratch. One of the things that you need to remember is that when you start a drawing, I want you to start from 0, 0. That's this point here in the middle. Basically, it means that every time that you bring in a shape that you want to assemble into different components you want to assemble into a final object, they all have the reference point of 0, 0, 0. And that will really help you when it comes to assembly, because you won't need to offset anything. So first thing I want to do is I want to draw a square, and I've got the options here of going 2 point, 3 point, or at the center. Now if I want to use this point as my 0, 0, 0, I'm going to start with my 2 point, and you can see that it's asked me which plane do I want to draw on, the top plane, the right plane, or the front plane. And I generally always start on the top plane, and you'll see it will just zoom around and do that. I can change it here, which ones I want to do, but it's asking me here, this sketch palette, to kind of set any kind of parameters that I might want to do. So I'm going to ignore that for now. In fact, I'll just get rid of that out of the way. And I'm going to click once and let go, and then move to the side. And you can see that I've got some options here, some sizes that I really want to kind of change. It disappears if you move. So I'm going to type in 100, and then I'm going to press Tab, and then I'm going to click 100 again. You'll see now that I've done a tab a second time, it's asked me where I want to put that. So I'm going to make sure I come up to this top right hand side, and then I'll press enter for a third time. So if I go through that again, I'll go to my sketch, rectangle, 2 point, select the center, move to the side, and then I type 100, enter, and then I type 100, enter, and then I press enter again. Okay, so now you can see that this is a closed area, and you can see these bits on the side here. Those are kind of parameters that are set. So you can see that I won't be able to move any of this. I can perhaps adjust these sizes here if I double click in, but these are all set now, and I can't grab that point and I can't drag it around or anything. These are set, so these are parallel and they are equal. Right, so I need to extrude this. So I need to say to the computer, hey, I want to create an extrusion. I want to make an in-depth profile. So I will click on, it says here profile select. I'll select that profile. You can see it says 1 selected, and I want to have a distance of 100. I can enter that here, or I can enter that here, and I'm going to enter it over on the right hand side. Click 100 and click OK. All right, it looks like it's just gone solid, but that's because it hasn't. It's just because we're looking right down directly on top of it. Now I can either change the view by grabbing one of these corners here and rotating. Okay, I can rotate and have a look around here, or what I can do, if I scroll my wheel on my mouse, I can zoom in or out. And if I hold down my wheel, if I click down, I can then pan. Or if I hold down the shift button on my keyboard and then I click the button, I can then start to orbit that shape. Okay, so that should be the shape that you've got to so far. And if I click this corner here, you'll see that it will shift into an isometric view of this drawing. Right, so I want to now make sure that this is a safe object for children to use, so I need to make sure that the edges are rounded. So I'm going to modify this shape. So if I go up to modify here, I can see this fillet. So a fillet adds rounds to corners. So my edges I want to select, and I can either select them individually like this, and you can see them getting added up here. So there's 4 selected, that's 5 selected, that's 6 selected, or I can just select everything all in one go, and I've got 12 edges selected there. And I want to make that radius 5. Okay, and you can see it does a preview for you, and I can change the way that those corners look, whichever way you want to do it. It's up to you, it doesn't really matter. And I can click OK. Alright, so we've got ourselves a 3D object, and now I need to make this hollow, and that's really simple. If I go to modify, because I'm trying to modify that shape again, and I click on shell, alright, it's asking me to select this object, and I want to put in a 5 millimeters. Now it looks like nothing's happened here, but I assure you it has. If I show you, if I inspect this, okay, and I move this down into it, you can see that actually that has created a hollow object. Okay, so I can now go File, Save, and I'll save that as Shape Sorter. Alright, and I'm going to put that in my test location. I can choose where I want that to go. I'm going to change that in my test sample, click Save, and now you can close that down. Ready to have a go next time. Alright.